We left off last session in the middle of Snowmantle on a mission to shut down the Zhentarim logging operation that the Myth-Tal of Valor scouts had gathered intel on and delivered to your group before you left the village to make the perilous trek north, all the way up to the border forest from Cormyr, across mountain ranges, through thief-infested cities, on the backs of giant eagles, and across deadly terrain inhabited by all types of enemies and foes. Swiftly, thanks in large part to your cleric's connection to the Seldarine and your berserker's knowledge of the land, and the combination being able to guide you directly there without getting lost or turned around along the way. Once you reached this tiny logging village, you very quickly realized that there are slaves being tended to by mercenaries and other types of bad people, frankly. Zhentilar, Zhentarim, priests of Bane, evil wizards, and as this group does, you very quickly got into the mix with all of it, and that put us in the middle of a big battle. During that battle, we saw Dragomir's brute strength on display as he tore apart iron shackles, keeping his hands and legs chained together. We saw Vaeleth take down an enemy with a targeted sneak attack after freeing herself from another foe on the ground shortly before that. Izzen expertly picking off multiple troops from the rooftop like a sniper in the mid-afternoon cloud-covered sky. And Sing came alive out of nowhere with combinations of spells that discombobulated the enemy and, at times, killed them outright by lighting them ablaze. We left off with 2 of those Baneite clerics left alive, along with the now deceased Glorgana's second-in-command, also still alive. The quote-unquote lead wizard and his 2 servitor wizards are still in the mix, although Sing spooked the lead wizard into running away terrified, which, ironically, also happened to Aylef a few rounds before. Those spell effects were wearing off and getting reconciled as we ended the session. I did miss Dragomir making a dexterity check when he axed his way through the one Zhentilar's body, because he was still shackled by the feet. So I got to retcon that. And then after he annihilated that guy with a single slash of his axe, burst out the other side of his form, he then ran down the path toward the wizard, still shackled at the feet. So that'd be a second dex check, assuming the first one passed. The 2 crony wizards were going to finish out their combat round by getting their attacks in, and then we'd pick up from there with a new combat round and a new session. Everybody have a good handle on physically where their character is?
I have a quick question about mine, actually. Where am I in relation to the wizard that's running away?
He's gonna get inside the manor house, which is building 8, like right before you come running in from 14. And then after he's shut up inside, you'll run back north and be behind the 2 wizards who are left and everybody else who's there involved, yeah. Vale, the last I remember, you're out front of the Temple of Bane, which is the building marked 7.
7, yeah.
Yeah. And you had just backstabbed a dude and taken him out.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Okay, cool. Sing is kind of in front of and between 6 and 7, like headed toward the intersection with 1, because he was running forward enough to scare off the lead wizard, which he did. So Izzen is at -7 hit points, unconscious on the rooftop. To end the round where we left off, one of the 2 crony wizards remaining spins around in place slightly with his arms out and then waving in a serpentine gesture while he speaks a brief incantation. This all lasts for a split second, and the next thing you know, boof, 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 out in out again, swirling around the whole time, just like Sing did. The one wizard is now surrounded by multiple identical facsimiles of himself. It looks like he just cast mirror image to get ready for battle, just like Sing did. The other one flicks something from his fingers toward the ground next to him, and you see his mouth moving, but you can't hear anything. And the next thing you know, he takes off straight upward into the air, like he's hovering. And he's now 20 feet above the ground, looking down on everybody else. And that's where we'll start tonight. Aylef, you've now reached the front of Building 8. You can see everything that's happening. So Building 8 is like just behind you on your left. Everybody else is in the position where they left off last time. What would everybody like to do? Let's start with you, Aylef. Welcome back.
Aylef is going to cast command on the flying wizard.
Okay. What's the range on that? Are you close enough?
30 yards.
Oh yeah, plenty close enough. Great. Let's go to Sing next.
How far is Sing from the woods?
30, probably about 30 yards.
Okay. Sing is going to attempt to distract the spellcasters.
With his buffoon ability?
Yeah.
Great. So Dragomir.
Dragomir is going to just continue moving forward to whatever is the next nearest enemy.
Right, and attack him. Let's get those retconned dex checks from last week. So one would be when you burst through the guy's body upon killing him.
6. Actually passed that.
Nice. So you're able to slam through that guy and keep your footing and then spin around and attempt to start running to the south after the 3 wizards like you tried to do last week.
At any point during this charge, could those chains accidentally, like snap loose or something?
They're too sturdy for that, but if he spent a combat round using Benbar's lift gates, he'd have a 50% shot at snapping them like he did to the other ones.
Okay, so make another one then to run to the next spot.
Yep, or basically to not face plant while running to the next spot.
Another 6.
Wow, okay, so you are chugging along and dish, dish, dish. Your feet not quite able to move as much as you'd like, but because these shackles are intended for human-sized legs and feet, they're giving Dragomir, who's smaller than that, a little more slack than they probably should be. And it's actually letting you make your run slightly slower. So if your normal movement rate is 6, it's maybe a 5 with these things on it.
Yeah, so he'll run up to the next nearest enemy and proceed with an axe attack.
Okay, Vaeleth, let's go back to you.
I, too, will try to target the next nearest enemy to me.
It's not just the 2 wizards. There are still 3 clerics involved. So Aylef, when the second in command sees you return to the fray, he spins around his sinister-looking mace and strides toward you for a melee attack. Everybody can roll initiative.
4 total.
Dragomir has a 9.
I have a total of 8.
Vale, what are you attacking with? I forgot to ask you.
Assuming I still have my bow and everything with me, I would use my bow, and that would put me at 13. I'll put my dagger back in my little holster.
You want to holster it and then just get 1 shot off?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. They're going to cast Silence 15-foot radius. They're both going to cast it on Sing. Sing's up first with his 4.
So what Sing's going to do is, from where he's standing, he's going to spin around really fast. He's going to, bend over and stick his head between his legs, looking opposite way, because now his back's toward them. But now he's looking from the ground between his legs, and he's going to get ready to run towards the woods. And before he does, he's going to yell at these 2 spellcasters. He's going to say, "Tell Bane I said hello. If he wants a real conquest, he can start by catching this gnome. And when you pray to him, does he grant you power, or just remind you that you'll never be him?" And then he runs for it.
And he just takes off towards the woods. Okay, they'll make wisdom checks against that. Pass, but distracted enough to let you get away. You're able to do that and then also begin running away. You're not able to get very far, but you do take off. You're out of melee range from everybody now. Aylef and the second wizard are up at the same time, the one who Dragomir's running at. So you're up, Aylef.
Okay, so Aylef is going to come up to the edge of the building that he's at, and he sees the flying wizard, and he just looks really quickly, and he says, "Down!" And he points at him.
Awesome. That guy's going to make a save versus spell. So he starts to comply. There's like an instant of him lowering himself mid-cast, and you see him visibly shake that off, fight through it, and continue his spell.
He's gonna keep running forward then.
Okay, Dragomir's up next, and he's rushing right at this wizard who now has swirling copies of himself revolving around.
He'll have his axe in both hands, and he'll kind of do just like a sweeping swipe in front of him and try and connect with as much as he can.
Okay, so there are two. So it's like the shell game. One of the three is the real guy, and then there are two other copies that are just illusions. As you breach his melee range, you can make your attack. You have +5 to hit.
So 16.
That hits.
So a 17 total damage.
Okay, give me a 1d4 roll and just re-roll any 4s.
2.
Okay, one of the two facsimiles, you slash at it like nobody's business, and it doesn't feel as satisfying as an attack like that usually does to you. The amount of damage in your berserk form that you can feel yourself dealing to a physical object, there's some satisfaction in that, but this time, this illusion just blinks out of existence and is gone, leaving two of them revolving around each other. So next round is your 2 attacks round if you keep axe attacking.
So he just turns, and his eyes are still, like beet red and furious, and there's heat coming off of him, and he just at the next nearest copy or whatever it is of this guy, and then he's gonna start to reach down for the next round and try and pull the shackles off of his feet.
Okay. 2 clerics were going to cast Silence 15-foot radius on Sing, but he was quicker than they are, and he ducked out of there. Now that Dragomir has terrifyingly run past them, spittle dripping from his mouth, his bloody axe blade wielded high in the air, they spin around to see what he's charging at, and the one whose turn it is now is going to refocus his Silence 15-foot radius spell centered on Aylef. Aylef, when you're ready, you can save versus spell.
8.
Okay. The world around you goes silent. You can't hear anything, not your own breath, not the rattling of your armor, none of it. Because of that, you're unable to cast, and as you rock back and forth and twist around and move to try and get out from this effect, you realize it's attached to you and following you wherever you go.
Cool. I mean, I don't say anything.
Right. As that feeling is coming over you, the second in command, he reaches you and raises his mace up high over his head and attempts to slam it top down. You don't get hit by this. What do? I'll let you narrate how he misses.
Which direction is he attacking me from?
He's attacking you from the front, a little bit off to your right side, so your shield side.
Okay, yeah, so he will just as casually as watching birds just stand flat-footed and tap it away with his shield.
Yeah, so this guy's mace slams into your shield, but you had it angled perfectly to deflect the blow, and it slides off to the side without even leaving a mark on your shield and without you feeling a thing or stumbling backward at all or even being nudged out of position as your shield pulses with a pale blue-white glow in the moment of impact. Vale and the Fly Wizard are up at the same time, so after Dragomir rushes past and annihilates one of the other wizard's newfound facsimiles, the wizard who resisted Sing's jibe finishes casting his fly spell, levitates right off the ground, and rises 20 feet into the air, where he just kind of hovers and looking down, preparing to cast his next spell. Vael, on the ground, you still have 2 Baneite clerics, Glorgana's second-in-command cleric who's attacking Aylef. The 2 Baneite clerics are casting on the party. Then you've got the wizard who Dragomir is probably inches away from decapitating. And then you've got the other wizard who just flew up into the air.
Okay, we will shoot an arrow at the flying guy.
Okay.
Maybe.
And you've got your +1 magic dagger sheathed and your bow and arrow pulled back out, so this is your one-shot round. Although,
Correct.
you didn't have to move at all, so we'll give you 2 shots.
Alright, first shot. It's a 4, but I get +1 for being an elf, plus another one for my bow, 2 for dex, so I think I get +4 to my 4.
He's still in short range, so you don't lose anything there. He's got the height advantage on you, so it's -1 there. And then, yeah, +1 for being an elf, so that offsets his flying. Then you've got +2 for your 18 dex, so you're at +2 total. Your bow is a +1 bow, so that's +3.
Well, then it's just +3 in this case.
So with your 7 total attack roll, we subtract that from your 15 THAC0 to get 8, so you'd hit AC 8 or worse. In this case, you train your bow right on this guy and let one fly right in his direction. He sees it coming in plenty of time and casually just slides to the side in the air with complete control over his free-form airborne movement via this apparent fly spell that he cast on himself. This guy casts a spell at you, Vael, and just need you to make a save versus spell.
Oh no!
You're looking for a 13 or above.
I got a 14.
Ooh.
Just barely squeaked by.
You hear some arcane chanting, and then he thrusts his hands out in your direction, and starting in the center of your chest and your temples at the same time, attempting to move its way simultaneously up and down your form, is this paralysis. And in that moment, you draw upon your frustration and aggravation and feisty fire with these people and just shrug it off completely and force it away. His whole person spell fails. Vael, you can take your second bow attack.
Alright. Well, it's the 6 total this time, so that's gonna miss.
Total. Dice jail for that D20.
Right?
Yep, again, just arrow zooms past him as he just casually moves back and forth. It's like trying to shoot something with the grace of a dragon, but much smaller. That wizard laughs at you mockingly as he just twirls around in the air, completely avoids your shots. We've got a new combat round. What's everybody do?
I'm going to continue to fire at this very rude wizard.
Give me initiative when you're ready, Vael.
9 total.
How about Aylef?
I'm going to attack the second in command with my Morning Star while blocking with my shield.
You can roll initiative.
14 total.
Okay, thanks. How about Dragomir?
Dragomir's going to try to slam the axe down on the chain between his shackles to break them first, and if successful, will proceed with an attack, and if not, then he will try again.
Okay. Sing, you could spend basically this next entire turn until you make it back to the woods. Are you still just running for the tree line?
Yeah, Sing's trying to get out of there.
Okay. And you can roll initiative when you're ready. So can Dragomir.
12 total.
And we rolled a 4.
Okay, 7 total for Sing, 12 for Dragomir. And I just need to roll for the wizards and the clerics. Second in command is cocky. He's going to keep trying to mace attack Aylef for at least one more round. One of the clerics is casting Cause Fear on Vaeleth, and she needs to make a save versus spell. He has the fastest initiative.
I rolled a 13 on the nose.
Bam!
Barely.
So again, you feel you feel this magic attempting to come over you. And there's this moment of panic and fright, and you steel your reserves and realize what's happening. Grit your teeth and shake that right off and keep your composure and continue fighting. So 2 more wizards appear from the village as they've learned about the fray that's happening, and they actually leave the manor house that the lead wizard ran into a couple rounds ago, and they use half their movement rate to walk up far enough to be able to see what's happening. So these 2 new guys who show up immediately, their hands shoot out Ryu Fireball style, and they cast, that's 4 bolts of raw, uncut arcane energy. Doof, 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 doof. Release from the outstretched fingertips and hands of these 2 newly arrived wizards, streak across the battlefield in the middle of this intersection of buildings in this tiny logging village, slam their way into Dragomir after snaking around their friendlies, and deal him 14 damage. The wizard who has 2 mirror images attempts to cast Melf's Acid Arrow at Dragomir, which is going to open him up for an attack of opportunity, but due to Dragomir just getting blasted with magic missiles, the attack of opportunity won't come until this guy is able to get his spell off. As soon as he does, Drago's still going, he's going to get, which he will be because of his berserk, he's going to get to counterattack for free, and it doesn't count as his turn. So they both pull darts out of their robes. The guy in the sky, he shoots his toward Vael, and the guy with the mirror image who's on the ground being attacked by Dragomir shoots his straight at the dwarf. The arrows mid-flight change into, or the darts rather, mid-flight change into bolts of acid. The flying guy got an 11, guy on the ground got a 12. Vael, he hits AC 6. I know that's going to miss you. Dragomir's hits AC 5, which I believe hits. And that does... So that's 4 total damage. Now you get to make the saving throw for your items so that they don't take acid damage. So you can just do... This one's going to slam into your chest because you're face to face. So... I guess your armor that you're wearing.
22 total.
Yeah, okay. So it actually just goes straight through a soft spot between links in the, what is Drago wearing? Chain?
Yep.
Just shoots right through some of those, barely damages the armor at all, like imperceptible, and goes right into his chest where he can handle it the most. Since this guy just cast with you in melee, you now get your free counterattack.
All right, let's do it. 15.
That hits.
3 plus 13, 16 damage.
How would you like to kill this guy?
Any attack against him is going to infuriate him, so the acid arrow hits, and he looks down at it, and you see him just kind of like huff and he just gets super intensely angry and changes his focus on whatever fired the acid arrow, and he just full axe over the back of his head, 2 arms up in the air, and just slams it down like square on the top of his head.
Now, let's have you roll a 1d12 before you roll. Decide whether you want the actual mage to be even or odd, and then the one you don't choose is the mirror image.
We'll do actual mage even. He rolled odd.
Okay, what you just described happens, and it obliterates the only remaining mirror image, leaving just the mage there. That was your free attack for the counter. That didn't count as your turn. You just got that because a caster was in melee combat with you when he chose to cast. Vael, you see yours coming at you, this dart elongates and widens and becomes a streak of bright, deep green shooting dangerously through the air at you. You see that coming, and with your bow still trained on your target, you hop out of the way just to the side as it smashes into the dirt next to you and starts eating away and eroding at the hard-packed street. You take no damage. So, Sing, you reach the tree line right as your turn ends. That takes up everything you've got for the round. You know, nobody's really looking, but if they were, they would see Sing run and get close to the edge of the forest and then leap and disappear head first, like he's diving off a diving board into the edge of the tree line. That leaves the next cleric and the last of the casters for his turn. Seeing his superior doing melee combat with Aylef, points at Aylef and shouts, "Die!" And Aylef, you have to try to resist his command spell with another saving throw.
16.
16. You don't even hear it. So you just see this guy point at you. You think he's casting something. It might be command, but nothing. Do you want to react?
While I'm about to swing, I just wink at him.
Awesome. Love it. Okay. And then it's Vaeleth's turn.
Well, that missed, and I'm not going to use that dice again.
Okay. Dragomir up next, and you can make your attack on your chain. At the same time, the second in command mace attacks Aylef for the second time.
Ooh, 18 total.
18 total is going to hit, so you just have to deal it enough damage.
14 damage.
Yeah, you can describe just hacking that chain into two pieces right in the center.
After 2 swipes at these illusions, Dragomir's obviously pissed, and so he wants to move unimpeded, so he gets a good sturdy stance with the chain spread apart and really swiftly slams the blade of his axe into the middle of the chain. He hits it square right in the middle.
There's a metallic clang and a spark that shoots off into the gloomy daylight as the chain splits in half. One of the thick iron links just explodes under the force of your axe strike. Meanwhile, the second in command attempts again, just futilely, to blast Aylef with his mace, while winking at the guy who cast command on someone who couldn't hear it. Aylef just casually moves his shield side to side, like the guy's completely unable to get through or around it. That leaves Aylef's turn.
No, that's a 6. It'll hit AC 10.
Yeah, nope. Swinging back around over your defenses, kind of only getting half distance, half strength into it based on your body positioning to block his strike that was a little bit faster. And he's able to just sort of twist and let your arm pass by. That's going to take us to Vael's second bow attack.
All right, new dice. Okay, better. I rolled an 8. And my pluses, yeah, we're going to be +3, I believe. Yeah, because he still has height advantage. So, yes. So, an 11.
That hits, Vael.
Oh, finally.
1d8 plus 3.
Okay. 5 total.
5 total damage, okay. You nick him in the thigh, and the arrow, like, screeches across through the sky, tearing a shred out of his trousers that he wears underneath his robe, and leaving a wide, trickling gash in the side of his leg. He winces with pain as the blood starts to pour out from the wound, and then quickly grimaces that away and returns to the sneer that he has fully focused on you, Vael. That takes us to Dragomir's second attack.
So Dragomir breaks the chain kind of effortlessly, and then immediately just like looks up at the remaining wizard, who now all of his illusions are gone, and he just lets out a sinister "Got you now!" And then he just lunges forward with full mobility, and he's gonna like two-handed slam the blade of his axe into the wizard's torso. 22.
I think that'll hit. It's close.
He's got mage armor up. Mage armor level 7.
Right. Bracers of defense, AC -10.
And a good damage roll, too. So 18 damage.
Okay, how would you like this guy to die?
Very similar to the first one he killed.
Last time, okay.
Yeah, he's full charging with the blade of his axe pressed, like the back of it pressed against Dragomir's chest. And he's just like full bull charging forward, 2 hands. And right as soon as he gets to the wizard, he thrusts his arms out and slams the blade into his chest. And then in one full motion, just pushes his arm through as cleanly as the axe blade can go through the wizard's body. He just shoves it all the way through.
His body writhes and spasms on the blade, and when you rip it back out and a gush of blood splatters in the process, body just collapses to the ground, writhes once more, and then lies still. Black Zhentarim mage cloak, running with blood, splayed out awkwardly in the middle of the street like a dog.
And then just in like full battle stance, just plants his arms and legs and gives another roar and then looks around. Who's next? And he looks for the next nearest enemy.
How about the heat coming off of Dragomir and any of the other aura or ambiance or anything like that?
Anyone seeing him, like any of the blood and stuff that's splattered all over him, you're kind of seeing it not quite evaporate, but almost look like it's kind of steaming off of his armor and his body. He's noticeably really hot.
Vaeleth and Aylef, if they look in Dragomir's direction, they'd see a heightened heat signature coming off of him if they're infravision, even though it's daylight out. And that takes us to Vaeleth's third attack, and this will be the end of the round.
Right, new dice. New dice, who dis? Still not as good. So, another 11.
If your 11 attack roll would hit AC 4, that hits.
Rolled a 3 plus another 3, right? Yeah, plus 1, 2, 3, yeah, so 6 damage.
One after another, just firing off, letting the bowstring snap. Just nick him again. He's trying to like spin around it. This one catches him across the bicep, tears another large hole in his skin, leaves a big wound there. He's visibly slowed, but no less aggressive or angry looking as he prepares to cast back at you this next round. So what you guys have left that you can see right now is Singh has dove into the woods. 2 Bay Knight clerics are left, and 3 wizards, now that Dragomir killed one of them, and the second in command. So a total of 3 clerics and 3 wizards.
Aylef is going to try and kick the guy directly in the balls as hard as he can, and then run away.
Okay. You'll just add +3 to your initiative roll.
I will continue to try to shoot this wizard that's hovering in the air.
Dragomir, next nearest enemy is either of the 2 clerics.
Whichever one's closest, beeline it for that. That's...
1 or 2-handed axe attack on that guy.
2-handed.
Okay, and Singh, what you doing from the woods?
Singh's gonna continue to try to distract and mock from the tree line.
Okay, everybody can roll initiative.
12 for me.
10 for me.
13.
Singh's got a 3.
Yeah, Singh, see you're trying, but nobody's looking in your direction, and they're really far away. They don't seem to notice, which is a bummer because your jibes and puns are really good.
In that case, Singh's going to use the cover of the woods and go back to where he set the fire and try and bring like a torch back with him.
Got it. Okay. We'll say it's going to take 2 rounds to get there. So we'll let him keep doing that unless something interrupts it. In answer to like what's going on with the jailbreak, it's still going down. And because of that is the reason why the remaining Zhentilar fighters in the village aren't also joining the battle against you guys. The jailbreak continuing is actually probably saving the party's life at the moment. Because the Zhentilar fighters that are still here, not just the prison guards, they had to get reinforcements. The fighters who were left were like, oh, well, the wizards and the clerics, they can handle whatever they're doing. They're way more powerful than we are. They've got it on lock. So instead, we'll fight off these forest creatures like we're known to do in this village and let them do their thing, because that's what they would want. So it's kind of two fights going on. Bunch of evil fighters and forest creatures defending/attacking the prison still. And then you guys against all the deadly casters. So Singh just takes off running as fast as he can, like scrambling his tiny 2.5 feet tall form over and under brambles and through thickets and stuff, try to semicircle his way back around to the western side of the village. One of the two wizards casts Magic Missile. So it's 2 magic missiles at you, Dragomir, for a total of 4 and 3, 7 damage. And then I think that takes you to negative hit points, but because you're berserk, you just keep fighting. One of the clerics. Okay, Aylef, you can take your turn.
20! Fuck yeah. Oh, I needed that.
To do what?
To kick the guy in the balls.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so do 1d6. This will be temporary damage.
6?
Okay. Give me a knockdown roll. This one will be a d6.
6?
All right. This guy's man-sized, so he would need a 7 or above. Because you critically hit him, we're going to give that to you. He drops his weapon and grabs his groin area, and just his knees buckle, and he's woozy and wobbling for a moment, and that allows you to run away without him getting an attack of opportunity on you. So which way do you run?
I was going to run towards the wizards.
Okay. You're able to make it as far as you want, but you've taken your action. You can use half your movement, but you only need half of it to get to where they are. That prevents the other one from casting this round, which I know was your intent. So at the same time, one of the two clerics casts Cause Light Wounds. His hands begin to emit a sickly black-red aura as he attempts to slam them into Dragomir's torso from the back, while Dragomir's attacking the other cleric who's still left. He gets a nat 17 plus rear attack, or at the very least flank bonus. So based on his level in Thaco, I know that hits. Dragomir, in your berserk state, it barely affects you, and you only take 2 damage here. Okay, Vale, you're up next. You can fire on the flying wizard.
Alright, I rolled a 6 plus 3, so a 9. I'm not rolling good tonight. What is going on?
15 minus 9 is 6. That hits.
Woohoo! 3 plus 3. Yeah, so 6 damage.
Okay, 6 damage. This one catches the flying wizard again, and this time your arrowhead sticks right above his waist into his side. He winces and grabs at it, kind of doubles over while still flying in the air, but it knocks him down about 5 feet, so he's only like 15 feet off the ground now. The cleric who Dragomir is rushing at is casting. He beat Dragomir hands down in the initiative, so he was also casting Cause Light Wounds, one of his last remaining spells, and misses completely with the attempt to slam his hands into a charging Dragomir. And Dragomir, you can counter that as you arrive with your turn coming up in the round.
14.
That hits.
Another 14 damage. Another nat 1 roll on the damage.
Nat 1 roll on the damage. Still kills the guy. How would you like this guy to die?
As he's running at him, the cleric goes to cast, and Dragomir just kind of like turns his shoulder and slams right into the middle of him and knocks him back. And then in the cleric falling back, Dragomir has an axe, kind of like fighting cartoon style. The axe is just like dragging on the ground, and then he sweeps it up, and the sparks come off the axe, and he slams the blade of the axe like right into the groin of the guy, and just kind of like sideways rips his leg off.
Oh man, the guy just buckles and passes out from the pain, and then just slowly bleeds to death. Well, probably not slowly. Okay, the flying wizard was up next. So Vael, he's casting Charm Person on you to try to take over your mind and have you pretty much turn on your own group and fight for his side against them. Fortunately, you're an elf, which means you have 90% resistance to this. So before you even have to make a saving throw, roll 1d100, shoot for a 90 or less.
I got a 95.
95. Okay, so he
Oh, no.
your
Oh,
innate
no.
racial resistance to this type of magic
Failed me.
fails you. He's this guy must be very strong in his
Ah.
craft at this particular spell, but now you get a saving throw to try and avoid it. 13 or above here.
I'm gonna try. Oof. Ooh, none of my dice have been rolling good. All right. Ooh, oh no! I rolled a 2.
A 2, Vael. You're
no. Aylef is used to me shooting him. It's okay.
That's right. It's just it's what you do. Vael's eyes glaze over and go black as her mind is no longer her own. Vael, for the foreseeable future, till you hear otherwise, your character is essentially an NPC controlled by me. There are limits. He can't make you jump off a cliff or anything like that in most situations, but you do regard the caster as like a trusted friend and ally, and you start to see that he's really in the right here, and it's you and your companions who invaded his village, and you're the murderers and thieves, and you've wronged and attacked him, and you didn't see it until now, but now it's crystal clear. You turn and begin to attack your own companions with your next 2 attacks for the round. The second in command spends the rest of the round recovering and getting his weapon back into place. That's when the head wizard, who Sing spooked originally, he comes out of the manor house. The spell effect has worn off. So he shows up at the edge of this combat encounter, and you hear him yell, "Enough!" and slam this staff into the ground. Vael, you have 2 more attacks this round, but we're going to say that being charmed wipes that out, so you're done, and you were the only one left.
You're safe for now, Aylef.
Yeah, safe for now, Aylef. Let's switch over to Sing real quick, and he has made it all the way to the tree line at the west edge of the village. Sing, what do you do from there?
First, he's going to look around. As Sing's standing there, he stops and he goes, "Oh, no, wait. What about Izzen?" And then he starts looking in the direction of where the bar was, where they met Juliana. And he's going to try and make it to that bar from the edge line of the woods. He's going to go around the back.
Okay. You wouldn't have had to go nearly as far then, so you're able to get there.
All right, yeah, he's going to sneak into the bars. Well, actually, no, he doesn't sneak in because they don't know that he's involved in that commotion over there. So he just walks in and he kind of like starts to look for her.
Okay, you don't find her right away, and you're going to have to kind of search the whole place. If she's there, she's going to be tucked away somewhere that's not readily obvious. The village was on lockdown before this all began, and now that it's chaos, all the normal people who reside here and are usually under lock and key if they aren't outright slaves, they're lying low hardcore, just kind of waiting for whatever the heck is happening to pass.
Yeah, so he'll search for her then.
Okay, we got a new combat round. Vael, you're charmed, so your mind and your character are not your own. Dragomir is gushing blood and covered in wounds, but still annihilating whatever gets in his way without thought to his own well-being. There are now 4 total wizards, so we've got 2 clerics, the 1 regular Bay Knight cleric, and then Glorgana's second in command. We've got the primary wizard who just returned, the 2 cronies, and then the guy flying. You can roll for initiative, and this is your 2 attacks round.
I did roll good for initiative, actually. I rolled a natural 1, so an 8 total.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, an 8 total. Okay. You do get a +3 initiative bonus when you use your one-handed battle axe two-handed. So let's knock 3 off, so you've got a 5.
mean, I don't have any spells and I couldn't use them if I did, so I guess I'll try and get in between Dragomir and the wizards and just try and focus their attention on me. I'll try and hit him straight in the face with the Morningstar, and there's no point in blocking, so I'm gonna also shield punch.
Brilliant. All right. You guys can each roll initiative. Dragomir's got a 5, so that just leaves you, Aylef.
2 plus 7 is 9.
Okay, and then I just need to roll for the cleric who's in melee with Dragomir first. Well, the Bay Knight cleric in melee combat with Dragomir rolled a nat 7, so regardless of what he's going to do, it's slower than Dragomir. The flying guy is like 1 point behind him with a sneer on his face, gripping the shaft of Vael's arrow that's sticking out from his body. He goes to cast at one of the party members, we can't tell who from his vantage point, and pew, pew, 2 arrows rip into the sky behind him. One of them goes wide and flying off into the cloudy day. The other one lands right into the kidney, killing him. He drops 15 feet out of the sky, hear the crack of his bones, and he's dead. You guys probably can't see this, but it was the Hibsel leader who is fighting the prison battle, was able to break away thanks to Izzen's help before he was taken out, and spend a round firing to kill that guy. So the guy in the air is dead. Vael, when that guy dies, the flying wizard, your eyes, the black leaves them, and your beautiful, bright, green, elvish eyes return to their normal state, and your mind becomes your own. What do you want to do this round?
Whew. Okay, yeah, so Vael is gonna kind of shake it off and look around at herself, because she's, like, not totally sure what the heck just happened. And she's going to continue attacking the nearest enemy without hopefully shooting Dragomir.
The nearest would be the cleric fighting Dragomir, but your tactical awareness says that the easiest targets, based on the fact that, like, one of your own very injured companions is not already in melee combat with them and potentially moves and gets in front of your friendly fire at the last second unintentionally, would be the 2 crony mages.
Okay, then I will shoot at one of the crony mages.
All right, roll for initiative. Add your bow speed to it.
Do not trust my dice right now. This is not good. All of them are horrible. That was an 8. Plus 4, so 12.
Okay, 12er. Oh, the second in command. I didn't roll for him. Forgot about him. He's going to attempt to attack Vael with his Morningstar. And then the one caster who beat everybody, he casts Chill Touch, and his hands momentarily glow with a white aura, off-tinted slightly by like a very deep pale blue, and then that subsides, and his hands just look extremely cold and clammy. He has them out in front of him like he's readying to swat away incoming attacks, is the stance he's doing. Dragomir's still up.
9, 14.
That hits.
Another 1 for damage. I keep rolling at once. 14 damage.
Okay. Yeah, this time it's really quick, because he just finished off a different guy who was trying to cast spells on him, and the spell casting to touch him to do physical damage without it being physical, the magic damage inflicted through touch, especially from evil people, it seems to really infuriate Dragomir. So after he dismembers and kills the last Bay Knight cleric, he spins around and sees the one that was attacking him from his flank, and he just does like a razor slice, backhand, horizontal axe swing with both arms, and it slashes across the guy's chest, completely biting all the way through his ringmail armor, exploding his shield that he was too slow to move into position in time. So Dragomir's axe caught the side of it instead of it doing its job and being in the way it's supposed to be. And a splash of blood shoots out from this guy's chest, and his heart stops beating. He collapses to his knees and then tips over onto his side. And Dragomir accelerates the process by just laying a boot into his face and pushing him over onto the ground.
Man, who brought the dwarf?
Who brought the dwarf? Right, so there are no clerics left except for Glorgana's second in command, and there are still the 2 underling wizards and then the leader who has reappeared. Sing, you're still searching the tavern for Juliana. Next up looks like it's going to be the leader, because it's just him, then Aylef, then you, Vael, as far as people who are left. The leader waves his hand in a semicircle and says something you can't make out from the distance, and his visage disappears. Aylef's up.
I rolled an 11, so that'll hit AC 5.
Okay, thanks. That hits.
Is 2d4, 4, and a 1. 5 total.
5 total damage, okay.
And then my shield punch is 11 again, which will hit AC. Oh, well, actually, it's a magic shield, so it's a 12. So AC 4.
That hits.
A 3 plus 1 is 4.
Okay. Yeah, you roast that guy in the shoulder with your Morning Star, and you can hear the sickening crunch of bone and muscle giving way under the force of your attack. And then right after that, you reverse your body momentum to slam into him with your shield. It cuts through the air like butter due to its magical enchantment. No wind resistance like you would usually expect from that kind of device. And you blast him with that and knock him off balance. He's barely able to stay on his feet and conscious as pain sears through his body from multiple angles. The other caster attempts to finish his spell and then fumbles it and loses it because Aylef's arrival mutes all of the sound and people's ability to speak or hear. Vael, your mind becomes your own again as it's your turn.
A 4.
So you have +4 to this. So you rolled a 4?
I had a -1 last time because the guy was floating in the air and he had height advantage. So yeah, typically +4.
Okay. So 4 + 4, 8. Your that goes 15. Subtract 8 from 15, that's 7. You did AC 7. That's going to hit, Vael.
Oh, my God.
Before you roll damage, though, you are firing into melee. So let's roll some percentile dice to see who you hit.
Oh. I rolled a 48.
Okay, that's not great. That has a chance to potentially hit Aylef, but it's not automatic. But I forgot I wanted to give you this option. Vael can strafe here in order to sacrifice her 3rd bow attack this round, but in doing so, she hits whoever she wants to hit.
Okay, yep, we'll do that.
Okay. Vael 1d8 + 3 damage.
Ooh, I rolled a 8.
Nice. 11?
11 damage, yeah.
Vael breaks like a straight shot to the side, starts kind of running, and she's training her bow on Aylef and the 2 wizards as she goes. He's standing basically in melee with each of them, and they're reacting to him showing up. She sees the one who's unscathed miscast his spell, and the frustration and confusion crosses his face right as she looses her bowstring and right into his throat and comes out the other side, and he just drops like a rag doll. Black Zhentarim mage robes spilling out away from his form as his body just sinks into the mud of the street. Vael, you've got still one more attack this round, and you can take that now.
Okay, so now I'll shoot at the guy with the 1 health since Buddy's dead. I rolled a 7, so 11.
All right, that's going to hit.
Yay! So I rolled a 7 plus 3 is a 10.
10. Okay. And then immediately after that guy takes an arrow through the throat, Aylef, you just finished whack to this guy, and you pull back to recover your default fighting stance for what happens next. And before you can even think that far ahead, this guy takes an arrow through the temple and just drops with the shaft sticking out of that side of his head.
I turn and look for Vael, and then when I see her, I salute her with my Morning Star, and then I run away.
Dragomir, your second attack is up. That should have actually been before Vael's, my bad. So the closest next guy is the second in command, Bay Knight Cleric.
Just a screaming, angry, shouting, flailing in a way charge over to him. 21 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
If it doesn't, something is seriously wrong.
Yeah.
Nice. Max damage on that one. 6. Finally get some
Oh,
good
yeah.
damage roll. So 19 damage.
19 damage, awesome. I skipped his turn either last round or this round, so before he gets annihilated by that, he's really dialed in on Aylef. He's pissed off that this cleric of apparently some kind of good deity, especially some kind of nature-oriented deity, is interfering in what he has going on here. He casts on you, Aylef, and just need you to make a save versus spell.
12.
That passes. Your vision fades and the world around you goes dark, and then you blink and put your hands to your temples and squeeze while channeling your faith in the Seldarine. You fight it off, and you can see again.
God, blind and deaf would have been rough.
Immediately after that, boom! Dragomir slams into that guy from the side. He skids across the ground on his butt. His weapon goes flying in another direction. He lands 5 feet away. He's almost dead. You can roll for knockout with a D10, Dragomir, and you need a 7 or above.
10.
Okay, so that guy's also unconscious. That just leaves the 3 of you and the invisible wizard. And that was the end of the round, because Sing, at this point, you find Juliana deep in a back room of the tavern, like a stock room, ducking behind inventory, just trying to ride out whatever is happening in the village.
Great. Yeah, so Sing approaches Juliana and he whispers, "Juliana, it's me, Sing the gnome. Our friends are in trouble, and one that you haven't met, he's on top of the prison. He's trying to help your people, but he's almost dead. Is there anything you can do to help? Is something to heal my friends that you could give me, or maybe rally the town somehow? We have to fight back. Now's the time at their weakest."
Which one is the real you? Am I seeing things?
Yeah, Sing claps his hands and he disapparates the other Sings. And he says, "Oh, sorry, I forgot they were still on. I'm an illusionist."
Well, your powers to affect the tide of battle out there are much greater than mine. What is happening?
There's been a large battle. Gorgana's dead, and so are her clerics. There's just a few left.
She bites her lip. That's wonderful. What do you need me for?
They still can't survive without help. Is there anything that you could do? Is there anyone you could rally behind to bring out and perhaps fight off evil?
I don't know what we can do. The village is on lockdown, but I think you're right that if there ever was a chance, if Gorgana is dead, well, what of Ragnoth?
Ragnoth? Who is that?
Wizard, blonde hair, black robe, carries a staff with an orb on the end.
I've met him. He still lives.
His power makes Gorgana's look like that of a child. If he still lives, I cannot risk the villagers' lives. We will regret attempting to fight him.
Do you have anything that could perhaps heal one of my companions?
I've already said too much, but Yes, one moment. I can spare what I have. She's going to spend the next round rummaging through her things, and then when we come back to you, Sing, she'll be handing you a regular potion of healing. We'll flip back to the party. So back on the battlefield, we've got the second in command is lying there really badly wounded and knocked to the ground unconscious by a Dragomir bull charge / axe blast. Vael has just recovered her own mind. She and Aylef have fought off the remaining Baenite clerics. They're all killed. The mages are killed, and all that's left is the second in command and the invisible wizard. That ended the round where the wizard went invisible, so he's going to do what he's going to do. What do the rest of you want to do this round?
Aylef is going to go to the last place he saw the wizard and look for him either moving in the mud like his footsteps or see if he can track his footsteps.
Okay. Dragomir, you are now at the moment where you can come out of Berserk because there's nobody left standing. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, Dragomir will look around. You know, he's panting and huffing and growling and letting out shouts still, and he's looking around, and if he doesn't see anything moving or an immediate threat, you'll hear his, breathing start to get more labored, and over the course of this turn or this round, he'll start to kind of physically shrink and slump down. By the end of the round, he will collapse.
Dragomir comes out of his Berserk state having obliterated everyone physically in his path with his mastery over his axe.
And he kind of just collapses to one knee, and then he keeps labored breathing. He looks over at Aylef and looks back at Vael. His eyes white out, and he closes and he falls over and he just thuds on the ground with blacks out.
Dragomir is lying there. For the first time, you can see what terrible shape he is in, and he was just somehow fighting through it undeterred. He's lying there unconscious, bleeding out. Aylef, give me a healing check.
15?
It's obvious, you can tell just by looking at him from a reasonably close distance that he's going to die if he doesn't get medical attention immediately.
I will rush over to him and whip my healing bag around my body and start analyzing him and trying to clean up his wounds and wrap them tightly and stop the bleeding where I can with gauze, disinfect the wounds.
Give me a healing proficiency check.
I don't remember what I need, but 6 should do it.
Oh yeah, so all of that takes a round while Drago continues to bleed out to -8 hit points, but now he is stabilized and no longer losing hit points. Aylef, because you got to him within the very next round, you can restore hit points with your healing proficiency. I believe it's 1d3.
Oh, I rolled a 6, so 3.
Okay, Drago back up to -5 hit points and stabilized. That's where we're going to end for the night. Nice job so far, but nobody knows where Ragnoth is, so watch out for him when we start up next week.